Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Pixel Pickers podcast. This week, we're going to be talking about something I've been very excited about, which is Doom: The Dark Ages.
Ooh.
Oh yes, indeed, I have completed and accidentally, technically platinumed it, but I did it via the Xbox Gamer Score, which let me tell you, that does not feel as good as getting an actual
No.
platinum trophy. Actual platinum
Yeah, the
trophy feels
numbers
way
don't
better.
really affect me.
Nah, plus there's no like that the Xbox like bloop is not the same as the PlayStation like thing or whatever you want to call it.
I don't know. I kind of like the bloop a little bit more, but I feel it, I get you.
Especially like nowadays when you get a platinum, it has a full animation that goes on the top right. Oh, chef's kiss. But as I was saying, I have effectively 100%ed Doom: The Dark Ages, which came out on Thursday of last week, which would have been May, because I'm bad with
15th.
time. 15th, May 15th. My history of Doom is I have played all of them and completed all of them basically, except Doom 64. I never beat that one. Even they re-released
Yeah.
it, I didn't beat it. I got it on the Switch. I need to get back to it. But I've played a lot of Doom in my life, and I love the genre of boomer shooters. And I think Doom Eternal is easily one of the best first-person shooters ever made from a pure gameplay standpoint. And the question that's been going around a lot is Doom: The Dark Ages as good and or better than Doom Eternal? And the answer is no. Like flat out, it's no. But that being said, it is still an amazing game that I truly loved. Like I said, I burned through it like 15 straight hours effectively, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
So the differences for Doom: The Dark Ages, it is a prequel slash sequel because the sequel to the original Doom games, but
Right.
it's a prequel to Doom 2016 like timeline, and it's about when the Slayer was when he became the boogeyman in hell, and he's basically a captured lapdog like weapon that is used to unleash hell on demon armies. And there's a whole story going on with like this race of people called the Sentinels, and then there's the Creed Makers, who you might remember, correction, the Makers, who you probably remember from Doom Eternal, who were the main antagonists of that game. And there's a lot of lore stuff. They said they wanted to put more of a focus on the story in this game. I mean, they did. I would say there's more cutscenes, but I
Yeah,
don't. I
it
don't
just
feel
it
like it.
never felt like I didn't care for it at all. I
I
had absolutely no care. The one cutscene that has gotten to me so far is just kind of watching the Slayer like maybe unleash himself a little from his bonds. But
yeah
other than that, like nothing got to me. Other than pretty solid character designs.
yeah like the
If
characters,
generic.
they're generic, so they're the character designs. Like this is the feeling I got. Let me know if I'm onto something here. If you agree with me,
Yeah.
they feel like what we thought games would look like in the future when we were like in 2008 when like Gears of War Unreal Engine 3 was the big
Yeah.
thing. This looks like what if Unreal Engine 3 lived up to the tech demos back in the day, because the game is
Yeah, and
gorgeous.
and I mean it the comparing it from that like future stance of seeing it from like Gears of War, because that's exactly what this feels like, is the modern version of Gears of War. Like have obviously you've removed your cover tactics, but that's, because we're talking about that big idea of just getting in brutally on every single enemy and moving quickly. And it's been a while since I felt that way playing a first person shooter, and it's very fun.
Yeah, so the big difference between Doom: The Dark Ages and let's use Doom Eternal as the comparison, since it was the last one in the series back in 2020. Doom: The Dark Ages is more of a bullet hell and parry based game than the other ones are, because the other ones don't have that at all. And so instead of like double
Yeah.
jumping around and dashing, which was like the big thing for Doom Eternal, was never stop stopping, never stop
Right.
moving. Actually, if you stop, you're dead. You're dead.
Never stop stopping.
But in this game, like your movement speed is slower. Enemies are shooting way more projectiles, but instead of them being like hit scan or like single missiles, they're shooting out like if you played like old shoot 'em up games, like waves of bullets coming out. They're like big red and green globules of like
Yeah.
energy that you have to. The green ones you can parry with your shield, which is for me just bound to right click, so it's just right there all the time. So it replaces like your
Yeah.
alternate fire of your guns.
Yep. Mine is left trigger, playing
Yeah.
it on PlayStation. So no aiming.
Yeah, and you don't need to aim in you don't need to aim in Doom. What is this?
Nope. You just feel it.
And I was concerned about it when I first heard it. I was like, I don't know if that fits. Let me tell you, the parry always feels good, and it's
Oh, yeah.
so quick and responsive. I do think the game over relies on the mechanic a little bit, especially with some of your higher tier enemies. Like let's without so we don't spoil anything new. The Cyber Demon, for example, a
Yeah.
staple of the Doom franchise, usually one of your harder fights. Uh, they become trivialized by the shield. Like if you're far
Yeah.
away, they're just going to shoot you, or they might put up a shield around them so you can't shoot them. So you just move in close, and when you're in close, they will only hit you with attacks you can parry. And so you just sit there
Yeah.
with the super
Exactly.
shotgun or the new chain shot, and you just bing, bing, bam, and it's really it trivializes them, and like they don't feel like a threat to me, which I think is a little bit of a problem. I think Doom games should be a bit harder. And for perspective,
Yeah.
I played this on Nightmare, which is the hardest base difficulty that you get. There are harder ones, but
Yeah.
like Doom Eternal on Nightmare, it is a nightmare. That game is hard, especially once you get to the DLCs. Like it gets ridiculously hard. This game, like I really only died in this game if I got stuck on something, or if I was just trying to complete weapon challenges and I was like, I'm not swapping off this weapon to save my life.
Right. Right.
And then you still have the live system from Eternal, which they now have again. They call them life sigils, I think now, so they
Yep.
fit more lore wise. And other than that, the whole game is kind of slowed down. Like this game has a sprint button, which
Yeah.
I highly recommend. There's two settings this game I recommend when you start it up and it lists all your settings for you before you hit play. One of those is auto sprint. Go ahead and turn that on. There's no reason
Absolutely.
there's no reason not to turn it on unless you just like your fingers hurting from holding down a button nonstop. Because I don't know what sprint is for you. I imagine it's left stick. For me, it's
Yeah.
shift. After the first level, my pinky was so tired because I just never let it go because you sprint in every direction. There's no
Hey,
reason not to
maybe
do
some
it.
people just want to take it slow and just enjoy the beauty of, all these kind of muddy and then hellish landscapes.
Maybe. But you can stop and smell the roses when everything's dead. You got things to do. There are demons to kill. Also, for some reason, the music is turned at 75% on startup.
Yeah, very odd
Crank
choice.
that shit up to 100 because I was like, you texted me like, how's the music in the game? And I'm like, I haven't noticed it actually. So then I went and checked,
Yeah,
and it was at 75%. So I turned it all the way up, and immediately fights felt better. If that
but
makes
I will
sense.
say even then there's still a lot of points in which the base level of music even at 100% was much lower than it should have been. The mix is still really odd outside of fights mostly.
Yeah, especially in cutscenes. I won't spoil, but there's some cutscenes towards the
Yeah.
end of the game where like Doom is known for that very like electro chuggy guitar. Like it's real
Yeah.
thick and drippy. And like all that's happening is like, let's say Doom Guy is running. Doom Guy's footsteps are louder than the music. No,
Yeah,
the
such an odd
music should be
choice.
driving that scene because like if we look back at 2016 with the original Doom, I mean that soundtrack. I don't know about you, but that shit plays on repeat for me when I'm like at the gym and stuff. That is like
It's perfect.
it's
It
get
is
shit
one
done
of the
music.
best ever.
And granted, this one is not done by Mick Gordon after their infamous fallout that they had after
Yeah,
Doom Eternal. It is very much Mick Gordon inspired soundtrack.
absolutely.
And it's not bad, but I think it's just that we've heard this same variation of soundtracks since 2016, and it's 9 years later. So I think it's
Yeah,
starting to blend a little bit. Like it's not bad,
absolutely.
but like
No.
you could take the Doom the Dark Ages theme and put it in like any other Doom game, and I would believe that it just came from that soundtrack.
Now, if you take the Doom the Dark Ages theme and put it in Oblivion, now that's something we haven't really seen. Something where you're, you know, kind of trying to chill the whole time and then the soundtrack is just relentlessly chugging at you, demanding that you go faster.
That would
There
be
I'm interested.
that'd be amazing for the Oblivion gates. Like you walk through the fire,
Yeah.
you just hear dan 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 dan. That would make Oblivion
Just
Gates
blast
actually
beats.
yeah, that would make Oblivion Gates actually fun in that game because they are
Yeah.
after the first one, you're like, I get it, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, there's so much walking.
There is so much walking in samey environments, but we're talking about Doom, which has
Which has
great
Doom gates to destroy,
yeah, the gore
which are
nests.
very fun.
Oh yeah, the Doom gates. I did forget about those. Yeah, yeah. So that's another thing they do. A lot more focus on exploration. Like this,
Yeah.
like they plot you into these levels. Like usually Doom levels are pretty linear in the newer iteration, but this,
Mhm.
if you ever played Doom 2, where you have those big, like when you're on Earth and you have these big, huge open maps that are just filled with
With
demons. They
yeah.
just they just throw you in
And
those in this game.
filled with demons and little nooks and crannies of secrets.
Yeah, there's shit everywhere, and like
Yeah.
it's very much that Halo Reach or Halo 1 moment where it's like, hey, we need these three bases taken out. Go do it.
Yeah.
And you just go around and do it, which is it's not a new or novel concept, but it's still a fucking good one.
And here's the thing, you can do an old concept well, and that right there is inspiring. Just doing something that, is not entirely unique, but you're doing that thing really well. And they definitely do in this game with the kind of sense of limited exploration. I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. So while we're talking about exploration, like you are exploring some granted disgusting environments, but
Yeah.
I just want to go ahead and say, like, Bethesda, you might want to lawyer up. Uh the people who make Warhammer might be coming for you. Because never has a
Yeah.
game looked more Warhammer than this. And I played Warhammer
Yeah.
Space Marine like last year, and that game
No,
was
this
less
is
Warhammer than
exactly
that game.
This is exactly what you want from like Warhammer Fantasy, Because it's just a little, like specifically the Dark Ages is just a little less sci fi than, full on 40K. But like, this is what I would want to be reading about is someone Doomslayer esque, which I mean, they do have the old Slayer books, Gortrick, but yeah,
There are just some cool things. Like if you just like stop and look in the background a lot of times, you'll just see like a huge ass demon and a massive like Power Rangers mech just duking it out, and you're just like
yeah.
sick. Uh
Really awesome sense of scale, not just in cutscenes, but in like big playable, mission set pieces.
right, and I wanted to get to that because this kind of a first for Doom. Doom doesn't have those what I like to call gameplay like variety missions. Usually Doom
Yeah.
is a straight up like the first level and the last level are the same minus like the how hard it is and the guns you have and your skill level. Like you're using
Right,
these same
exactly.
techniques. But like this game has turret sections, it has
Yep.
mech sections which are granted very easy and luckily do not overstay their welcome. They are very quick, but they're
Yeah,
cool while they're there where you just get to
exactly.
live out that
It's a
power
perfect little
fantasy.
taste of it.
And then there's to even make the exploration better, there's the dragon missions, which there's about
Yeah.
3 or 4 of them where you ride this dragon that has guns mounted to it because Doom, and you explore an environment and you take out objectives in any order you want. And I'd say those are my favorite missions in the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't beat it yet, but so far the ones that I've experienced, it just felt the best so far.
Yeah, and you get like I think two, or I think you get like two more from where you told me where you're at because you're about halfway through.
Yeah,
Uh,
like just around halfway. Seems about right.
but the dragon is dope. Love the dragon, especially he has a sound effect. When he does like a finisher on some enemies where he breathes fire down their throat,
Yeah,
and the sound, ooh, it's nice and crispy. It's good.
it's good stuff.
And yeah, that's kind of like the thing about this game. A lot of people call Doom 2016 a fantasy fulfillment, like power fantasy fulfillment. And a lot of people like non like boomer shooter Doom people, when they played Eternal, they didn't like it as much because it was harder and it was I've always called it, Doom Eternal is a dance, right? And you have to know the steps. Every
Right.
weapon has its purpose at its time with the flamethrower, the chainsaw, and everything, right? And
Yeah.
it's
So
all
you're
perfectly choreographed,
balancing your resources to get more resources.
right? And Doom the Dark, if Doom Eternal could be described as a dance, I would describe Doom the Dark Ages as uh a just march. It is a forward march, it is a bull in a china
Yep.
shop. They're like you're not playing with these demons. Like I said, I played on Nightmare and didn't pose much problem. You feel unstoppable in this game, especially with that shield.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
once you
as
start,
soon as like you get enemies that are just constantly launching, parryable missiles at you, like the game becomes yeah, Slayer's play. It's
yeah,
so easy, but like very satisfying.
and they just keep giving you more tools. Have you got
Yeah.
so there are things you like upgrades you get for your shield for when you parry, you create an effect on the world. Have you gotten that yet?
Yes.
You've probably gotten like the
Uh
first one, I think.
I think I got the first one. Is that the
The
shock?
the trimmer. There's the ground
Oh
trimmer is the
yeah,
first
yeah,
one.
the ground tremor. Yes.
And then the second one,
The
like you shoot things out, like little like lasers out of everywhere.
hmm,
You get that about like almost halfway through the game, and you're just like, oh, I got another tool that makes me feel more powerful. And then you
yeah.
have multiple melee weapon options too. I
Yeah,
think
that
it's
surprised me actually. Like I knew that I had a flail at some point, but I didn't realize that I was like going to be changing out my melee, which kind of like just the difference of the Slayer just punching or using a flail. Like it makes a big difference for how the game feels entirely, which I thought was really cool.
yeah, there's three different weapons, or three different types of melee. I won't go into them all because I don't know if they've showed them all off, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But the flail I know they have shown off. Like
Yeah, yeah,
for
he's
your
kind of
fists,
featured with the flail.
yeah, your fist, for example, you get three hits, fourth if you upgrade it, and they give you a little bit of ammo, and I think they give you health for your fists.
Yes.
But the thing is, they're fast. They come out fast and they're done fast. You can stagger
Hmm.
enemies in. You can just throw that in whenever you need during a parry fest. And then
Yep.
the flail, you get I think two hits and it's slower, but you get more resources out of it and it does more damage. And the third one,
Yep.
you can only swing one time. You only get one melee charge for it, and it completely refills all your ammo when you do it.
That's pretty
Like
sweet.
like there is no running out of ammo in this game unless you
No.
exclusively use one gun.
Yeah, exactly. And even then, like the game still chucks a bunch at you. You have to be deliberately going as slow as possible and avoiding pickups to run out of ammo at all.
Yeah, which very like I said, very different from Doom Eternal, where I played it recently, and there were times where I was running out of ammos during fights
Oh yeah.
on nightmare mode because I was like, I don't have chainsaw right now, so I just need to run
Yep.
around and make it work for a minute until I can get my
Yeah, you
chainsaw
you
back.
need to, get your cooldowns out and throw a grenade, hope it's a real lucky shot. Maybe you can stagger someone.
But yeah, that this game doesn't like I said, it whatever barriers that people felt like more casual fans felt from Doom Eternal are very much lifted from here, and you just feel powerful with awesome looking weapons. Everything's got like this. What would you call it? Like neo gothic? Like how would you describe like it's
Yeah, I think I think the earlier Warhammer lawsuit was very accurate.
yeah.
You know, it neo gothic war kind of 40K type stuff. Looks
Like
good.
there is like let me just put it this way. There is a weapon in this game. It's called there's two versions of it. I think it's the pulverizer is the one you get first.
Yep.
It's just a scatter gun, right? But that's boring. Scatter guns are boring. Who cares? I can shoot a lot of bullets at once. What
Yeah.
if the ammo was skulls and the gun ground them up and shot the skull fragments out?
Yep.
Fucking
It's
sick.
brutal. And it's so well animated the whole time. You're just
Yeah.
watching these skulls get crunched up.
Yeah, like they like act like the skull, like you can watch it as it goes as it
Yeah.
comes down to nothingness. Ah, man, the game is like really good. Like if you like boomer shooters at all, that would be things like the 2016 Doom, uh, Doom Eternal, Dusk for like your more indie stuff, Ultrakill. God, if you haven't played Ultrakill and you like Doom the Dark Ages, you need to play Ultrakill. It's like the middle stepchild between Doom Eternal and this game. It's got the parries, it's got slides, it's fast as fuck. It's Devil May Cry meets Quake.
Yeah.
Uh, but Doom the Dark Ages is a great boomer shooter, albeit just a little easy, but that's fine because it's fun as fuck, just straight up.
Yeah, it's incredibly fun. And maybe it is easy coming from, the stance of folks that do play a lot of these games. So, it doesn't stack up to the boomer shooter level, but towards your more average first person shooter, I don't know, like especially someone for this one specifically, if you aren't used to parries. Like, if you are not someone that knows how to throw up a shield in time, like, I think this game will be able to teach you how to do that.
Yes, because it's the parry system is very forgiving. Like even on Nightmare, I think they only
Mm-hmm.
take the parry window up like a little over like halfway of the its most restrictive,
Yeah.
and you don't even have to be close. Sometimes you're like sometimes like oh I did
No.
not parry that. Like the game is just get throwing me a bone here.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
but if you do find it hard or you need to practice or it's you don't have the ability to do it for whatever reason, this game is super customizable in the difficulty in both
Yeah.
directions. My favorite one is you can change the speed of gameplay.
Which was wild. And
Yeah,
it's kind of all the way at the bottom of the settings screen. And I was like,
it,
oh, that's just hiding down here.
yep, and it's just set at 100. I bumped it up to 200 just to see what it was like. If you haven't, after you beat the game, go through, do like the first mission or missions at 200%. It's just silly.
Gonna
But
make
you,
speed runs ridiculous.
oh, people have already figured out crazy stuff. Like
Yeah.
there's so much about like the mechanics of this game we haven't talked. Like I could talk for a while just about the shield because it's not just for parrying in this game.
Yeah.
It's a full like is a weapon onto itself. You can throw it like Captain American style, and it will slice up smaller enemies. Uh-oh, there's a dog.
There's a dog. She begs for attention.
Yeah, but the shield can slice up smaller enemies, and for like your mid tier to high tier enemies, it'll get stuck in them and just grind onto them. And then you
Yeah.
have weapon upgrades that will like proc after that. For example, the assault rifle, which is called the Shredder, which I think it just shoots bolts
Yeah.
out. It's a bolt gun, effectively. Sorry, Warhammer. Don't sue them. There's an upgrade for that. When you have your shield stuck in someone and you shoot them, you ricochet bullets around, which is a very OP ability in this game. It lets you shred through like waves of enemies.
Absolutely. As the name implies.
And it's awesome. There's also while you're shielding, you can point at an enemy and right click or your primary fire at them, and you'll just straight up shield dash to them. And the range on
Yeah.
that is extremely far.
It's so good. And it does such a wide AoE like damage.
And
And
it stuns
it's
them.
yep. I mean, like on I think Hurt Me Plenty, the hard difficulty, it will wipe out everyone in the area.
Yeah, so any of the like low tier mobs, like your basic imps, soldiers, the zombies,
Yeah,
those guys are pushovers. Like they might swipe at you or shoot you sometimes. They are actually just there. They're health pickups with a health bar. That
exactly.
and because whenever you're low on health, you just throw your shield at them. They make health. You're fine.
You throw
Like
your shield at them, you use, the melee, you have in similar ways to Doom Eternal, you have, specific, utility items for specific times to get specific types of pickups. It's just that Doom Eternal does the same thing earlier and kind of better.
yeah, I mean, but do you feel like these guys are so like fragile? I don't know if you've noticed, like Doom guy, he presents a lot heavier in this game. When you're walking around, all you
Yeah.
hear it sounds like if you're like playing a horror video game, like and you're getting chased by the big bad monster down the hall. That's what Doom guy's footsteps sound
Yeah.
like. And like when you jump, if you like jump at all and land near those enemies, you create a shockwave and a loud like boom, even if you only fell like
Yeah.
3 feet, and it kills them.
It makes you feel like the Hulk, like straight up, and it's very satisfying.
Yeah, it's like somebody gave the Hulk a gun and said, "Go
Yep.
fight hell," and he's like, "Got it."
Got it.
Just everything about this game is great. They're about through the halfway point, which apparently Sony spoiled. There is a new location twist that I didn't know about. That really it made me laugh really hard. Uh, you know, it's just a fun game. I think the weakest parts about it are probably the over reliance on parrying for your high tier enemies and the bosses in the game. They're nothing special. They don't really feel that tough because of
No.
the parry system. Because like the last,
Yeah, and most of the bosses kind of feel just like ways to introduce new battle mechanics for the next level.
yeah, and in the last like 2 levels, like they're all just boss fights
Come on,
effectively.
go on, go on, girl. Good girl. All right, sorry about her.
You're good. And the last 2 levels are just effectively just boss rushes where you fight like the same guy like 3 or 4 times, and he
Hmm.
changes mechanically a little bit for like each phase of the fight,
Yeah,
and they're not hard. Like literally, like it's so over reliant on the parry that I would just parry him, and I was grinding my weapon challenges during the final fights
yeah.
because, like I said, you're almost like I've never complained about being too strong in a video game, but you're a
I
little
mean,
too strong.
it is an incredibly generous parry system. That shield just right, makes you feel like Captain America. Again, it's the Marvel like analogy. I guess it's Hulk also is using Cap's gun or yeah,
And
Cap's shield and
he
I don't
has
know,
Mjolnir on
Punisher's
his
gun.
back. He has Mjolnir on
Yeah,
his back,
right.
and he's got the golden gun from fucking 007.
Yeah, it's wild.
He's just, he's the amalgamation of every like badass from fiction all rolled into one person.
Yeah, one
Uh,
giant power fantasy.
yeah, and it's some good shit. I'll be straight up. It's some
Yeah.
good shit. But is there anything else you wanted to say about Doom: The Dark Ages before we rolled on?
No, my feelings are kind of the same on it. Like it's definitely incredibly good. It just doesn't really have much for me that's going to be pulling me back in, I think. Unlike Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal.
I think if they already have like campaign DLC announced, I will 100% get that and play that when it comes out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Especially if it's as half as good as Doom Eternal's DLC was, because those missions rocked, and the ending to Doom Eternal's DLC was cool. And I think
Yeah.
at least, but yeah, I mean, I might pick it up every once in a while. It's a good way to get some anger out though, because you're just a
Yeah,
bully.
I think it for me it kind of pales in comparison to, actual Warhammer, which is, playing either Space Marine 2 or Darktide. Um but it is a very cool clean version of that power fantasy. and it gives you way more power. It just maybe I want to be restricted in some ways. I want, I guess, a little more difficulty sometimes.
Yeah, that's like again, my biggest complaint is like, man,
Yeah.
you could have thrown more enemies in here. Like
Yeah,
some of the best
absolutely.
fights in the game are towards the end when they're like, "Hey, here's two of those enemies that you can only really parry to attack." Oh,
Yeah.
and then it gets interesting because now you're like, "Okay, now I have to juggle them." And I think if they introduced that way earlier, maybe like mission 4 or 5,
Right.
I think that would have kept up the pace of like, I'm powerful, but I'm also fighting all of hell and
Yeah,
more.
it does just kind of give enemies more armor like that as you're going on. And the armor, blowing up mechanic is fun in this game, but it's just not as intriguing of a way to make the game feel more difficult.
It feels just like I have to sink more bullets into you type thing.
Yep,
It
very
elongate
spongy.
it elongates the fight, but doesn't enhance the fight.
Yeah. It's good in a boss fight. It's not good in every fight afterwards.
Yeah, pretty much. Because towards the end there are a lot of just armored everything, but you'll have weapon
Yeah.
upgrades that help you shred armor real fast, and
Oh
then
yeah,
it
the
becomes
upgrade system is fantastic in this. Well, I guess we didn't really highlight that too much other than saying like that there are like upgrades and stuff, but you get very specific little builds and stuff for each weapon, and just like to be able to swap through and apply effect on effect on effect to every enemy and just watch it shrapnel around everyone is very fun.
yeah, yes, 100%. All the weapon upgrades feel good in my opinion,
Yeah.
especially since I had to do all the weapon challenges for them, so I got to know them quite intimately. But yeah, but like what's the standout weapon for you? Like if you had to pick your
Um
three favorite weapons.
Oh, 3? Easy. Okay. That's a bit easier. What is the chain ball called?
Chain shot, especially
Chain
fully.
shot.
Oh, if that thing
Chain
fully
shot's so
upgraded,
good.
fully
Yeah, and
upgraded. Oh,
there's one upgrade to the chain shot, which is just when you hit a parry, it automatically fully charges it. And that just wipes the entire field because, as we said, you will be constantly parrying just random projectiles coming in, like nigh constantly, I guess. Sometimes there'll be a little break on the screen. But since you're doing that, you're fully charging up the chain shot all the time. And it feels so good. Um, but I also really like um it's the second version of the plasma gun.
the first one's the accelerator, and the other one
Yep.
is the charger.
Charge Charger Chaser?
It's
Maybe
something
it's
like
just charge.
that. I think it's
Yeah.
charger. It's the charger and the
Um
accelerator.
that one feels really good because it gives you shocked on everyone, and I really enjoy getting that nice little status effect on the field. But also I love blowing up anyone with an energy shield. It is so satisfying.
That is true. That plus once you get the shock on them, you can get the chain reaction off, and it'll hit
Yeah,
like the smaller guys, which will like domino effect around the
exactly.
field. You're just like
So good.
that felt
And then
nice.
definitely just a shield if
Oh,
we're
okay,
counting
yeah.
it as a weapon. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it absolutely is.
I mean, I think the shield has my highest kill count because I just throw it into crowds
Yeah,
of enemies, so
exactly.
it is torn through plenty of people. Okay, yeah. I mean, for me, I want to go with the super shotgun. Even though the chain shot does beat it out on most occasions,
Yeah,
it's the super shotgun. It's a classic. It's so
yeah,
fun. I will use it even when it's not optimal because in this game, optimal doesn't matter.
yeah.
You
It
can
really is trying to say have the most fun.
It says pick the weapons you want to use and just use them.
Yep, yep.
Like everything is viable. So I use the super shotgun because I like the way it feels. Makes
Yeah.
brain go burr. Uh, on the flip side of you chose the charger. I'm gonna go with the accelerator.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
it
that's
it
fair.
it's the standard plasma rifle, but much shorter range, very unwieldy in its like fire rate and its spread. But once you like upgrade a little bit, it starts building up a charge. So when you stop shooting, it like produces a heat blast around you
Yeah.
that just obliterates. even some mid-tier enemies, and that always feels good. And the last one, ooh, I'm stuck between the one I actually used a lot, which was the shredder, and the
Yeah.
pulverizer, which is the one that grinds up the skulls. Because when you
That
get that,
my thoughts exactly on kind of those two in a, dead heat.
I think I'm gonna go. So I think the shredder is more effective. I'm gonna go with the pulverizer for its aesthetic and its effect. For its aesthetic and its effect, because as you like start killing, you start shooting into like the what do you call them? Let's call them the mobs. You shoot into the crowds,
Yeah,
the mobs, and
trash mobs.
it'll build up your charge for your pulverizer. So it starts shooting faster and more, but it also increases your movement speed. So you're moving like Doom Eternal rates,
Yep.
and you're just flying around the field to a point where it's almost unwieldy. Like you're like, I don't know what's happening. Like
Yeah.
there's so many bullets and people and like just shit on my screen. I'm like, I could be staring
There's
at a
no
blank.
ledges over here.
I could be staring at a blank wall. This does not matter. This is visual noise at this point, and it's
Yeah.
very satisfying to just like. I accidentally killed a cyber demon that way because I was like, meow, and all of a sudden he was like, press E to glory kill, and I was like, sure.
All right.
So yeah, I think those that was that 3 for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my 3. And you haven't gotten all the way through, so I won't ask your favorite thing to fight.
Oh, okay.
But for me, or how about this for the because you've seen all the old school enemies, they've all got
Yeah.
redesigns to
Yeah.
where I'm like, I
The
don't like
only
it that
one that
much.
I haven't seen yet, and I'm sure it must be in the game, but I haven't seen a cacodemon yet.
Uh, I think you're about to see one.
Okay.
They
Okay.
just look like floating brains now.
Oh, well,
No,
that's kind of a bummer.
yeah, they're not like. I think a lot of the designs got a downgrade personally. Like they are more fitting with
Yeah.
the environment and they look great.
Yeah.
Like they all have a lot of effects. But they lose some of that cartoony nature that you get from Doom Eternal, which I really liked.
Absolutely. I feel
Uh,
that.
but I'm gonna have to. I think the best redesign is one that sticks it kind of close to the original, and it's the Mancubus. I just
Yeah, the
love that
Mancubus looks great.
the big fat boy, which is 2 guns. He always looks good. I love
Yep.
that dude. And the not the small imps, not the little small imps with a beard for some reason, but like the
Yeah.
big imps. They remind me of like the ones in Doom 3 where they were like scary looking. Like
Right.
all these enemies look very scary, by the way.
Yeah, there is true hatred in their eyes for you. Like you can feel it.
And it does not bother you. Like
No, not at all.
so to talk about the story a little bit, Doom Guy is not a character in this story. He
No,
is
he is not. He
he
truly is a weapon.
he is a force that is happening. Like have you ever
Yeah.
heard the thought experiment of you can have $100 million, but there's immortal snail that is always moving after you. Bodies of water cannot stop it, air cannot stop it. It's immortal. It will get to you eventually, but it's a snail.
Yeah.
And if it touches you, you just die. Have you ever heard that thought experiment before?
Nope. But I feel it.
That's just what Doom Guy is in the story. Like, there's
Yeah.
politics and things happening. Does not matter.
Nope.
Doom Guy is like, I'm going to kill that thing. And
Yeah.
if something gets in the way of killing this thing, he's like, I'm going to climb that thing to now go kill that thing.
Exactly.
And it just expounds on that to the literal nth degree. And like I can't tell you anything that happened in that story. I watched every cutscene.
Oh yeah.
I
No.
understood it. I followed it, but like it was in the ears, through the eyes, out the butt. Did not care.
It is just, I guess kind of it is effectively plot lube to get you to reasonably into the next spot. Like, but besides that, like I didn't need to know why he was there, honestly.
Didn't matter. Like
Yeah.
there's like, hey, go destroy these things. Roger Dodger, I'm on it.
Understood.
Yeah. What a good time. But that's
Very good
enough
time.
about Doom the Dark Ages, Jarvis, I think. I think we waxed
Yeah,
poetic
yeah.
enough. I think we both agree, great game, but it doesn't live up to Eternal.
No, I don't even think it lives up to Doom 2016.
So for me, I I haven't played Doom 2016 since like literally a few days before Eternal released. So I do need to
Oh,
go
okay.
back to it.
Yeah, I've played it very recently.
In my mind, they're pretty close to each other. But also at the end of the day, you're still talking about, in my opinion, three amazing like first
Yeah,
person that you are.
absolutely super well polished boomer shooters, which there are not enough of now.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot. They're just in the indie scene.
No, but
We
that's what I'm saying, well polished ones.
oh yeah,
Like
like
because these, this it doesn't have the same ridiculousness of, old school Doom. Um but they are very, very fun. They are now being able to say, like, truly, let's do the next level, coolest, badass thing, which is cool because they have the resources to be able to do that.
yeah, I would
But
love
yeah,
to see more like this. Like bring back
yeah,
Quake. Not don't make it the multiplayer Quake. Bring back Quake.
yeah,
Bring back like all that shit. Like Shadow Warrior did a comeback about last generation, and
yep,
first game was decent, second game was really good, and the third game was not. So, like,
yeah. I didn't play the third at all.
but those weren't even like AAA like Doom is, for
No,
example. They were
yeah,
like high budget indie development. I
yeah.
would love to see
Double A,
more.
I guess.
Yeah, we'll say double A for the sake of it. I would love to see more on like the level, like the budget of Doom: The Dark Ages, because
Yeah,
you
be
you have
stellar.
really cool ideas and environments that, man, if we just had the art team to like that could have the time and money to make those models and textures,
Yeah.
because the gameplay is already there. Like I'll tell you right now, you can go
Oh
play
yeah.
games like Ultrakill, Turbo Overkill, while a lot of these words have kill in them, Dusk, like the gameplay's there. Like you could just
Oh
take
yeah.
those, slap on a expensive budget, like, and you're gonna be hearing those themes at the Game Awards.
Absolutely.
So it's all there. But Jarvis, other than Doom: The Dark Ages, what have you been playing this week that you
This
can talk
week
about?
that I can talk about. Yes, we are not journalists, but we do like to explore games, and sometimes we get pretty cool access to stuff. So that's fun. But other than that, honestly, I haven't been playing all that much this week. Recently we've been doing a lot of Rivals and a little bit of Overwatch, but that hasn't really been, scratching any itches for me lately. So pretty much I've only been playing a game that I can't talk about and Doom: The Dark Ages since we've last talked.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, sometimes you just kind of need to take a break from things. Like I've also been playing a little bit of Marvel Rivals, and that's really because people are like, "Hey, come play with me." I'm like, "Okay, I
Yeah.
will." Like I've never willingly booted up Marvel Rivals to play by myself. That sounds
Yeah,
like a
see,
bad
I'll
time.
I'll I'll play with myself a lot, I haven't grown out of that.
Oh, you good? I tell you, you know that makes hair grow on your hands, right?
I'll take any hair growth anywhere at this point.
Oh, let's see. What have I been playing?
Stop it.
Oh, the bad dog.
It's not the best behaved dog. No, can't eat that. Oh, all right. Better.
So other than Doom: The Dark Ages, I haven't been playing much either. I did start Return to the Savage Planet,
Oh,
which
okay.
it's like a little, it's a co-op game, but you can also play it solo where you crash land on this planet that you're supposed to like recolonize effectively, except you get fired after you land there. So it's you and your little AI like robot like companion going around exploring and like capturing the local fauna and gathering all your materials that got lost and then shooting yourself to other planets. It's fun.
Huh.
There's a lot of humor in this game. It's I would call it peak 2008 humor, 2008 to 2010 humor. Like there's things called like the herpy derpy and shit like that. A lot of like jokes when you scan the objects. But also when you go into your home, like your habitat, there's a TV there. It's always playing these commercials for this fake company. I don't know if you remember that show, Tim and Eric. Awesome show, great job
Oh yeah.
from back in the day. It is that style of humor, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's
These
a
are
very
all live action, I
they're
think. Did
they
I
are
see
live.
that?
They are all live
Yeah,
action. They
that's
are they
right.
are legitimately Tim and Eric skits without Tim and Eric,
They
which was
are.
never my jam. I never found them funny. I'm like, okay, they're just being weird. Like there's some good
I
ones.
I like both of them a little bit more in other things that they appear in. I don't specifically like, Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job, wow. But like seeing them in other work, I do, and I think they're funny.
So I mean, this game is on Game Pass. I don't know if it's on PlayStation Plus or not,
It
but
is not.
it looks like a pretty cheap game. If you just need like you and your like, I think 3 friends want to go around and like fuck around and just have like, it's fun. It's a fun time. Honestly, like I'll probably play more. If I put like 3 or 4 hours into it, I'll probably play a little bit more. Great
Fair enough.
podcast game. But
Yeah.
also, like I said with Doom, there's a setting you need to change. Your little AI robot that follows you around never shuts up. And normally that shit
Yeah.
doesn't bother me in the games. Like the only time it's ever bothered me is when like Atreus spoils a puzzle that you just got to. But Atreus talked a lot in God of War. This thing doesn't shut up. And to the fact when you first get your habitat, it's like, how much do you want your robot to talk? It's its default is all the time. And I set it to minimum. And then it only talks like when there's mission critical things. And I was like, oh, thank
Yeah.
God. Because it got to the point where it's like you would scan something and she'd have like, instead of like a short quip about it, she would have like a 7 sentence joke. And
Ugh.
you're scanning, like early on, you're scanning things at kind of a rapid pace. So she's like interrupting her one joke to start the next one. And it's like,
Ugh.
eventually I was like, I haven't,
Sounds so messy.
I'm like, it's too much. Like, you've written
I
too
can't
much
believe they
material.
included this in Doom the Dark Ages.
No, but like, oof. Turn that down. It's a fun game. It got me to giggle a couple times. It's pretty fun. It's a good little
Yeah.
exploration game that I recommend. Other than that, I've been playing Spider-Man games for the original Game Boy for a video I'm working on.
Oh, those are weird ones.
Yeah, they are a little weird. Like do you know the first one on the Game Boy was made by Rare?
Um, Maybe I knew that at some point. I couldn't have recalled it. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know it, but I was like made by because I was doing like research on it after I played. I was like Rare.
Yeah.
It was made by one person at Rare back in
Uh,
1990
Wild.
before I was born.
It's so old.
Oh yeah, the original Game Boy came out in '89, and that
Yeah,
bitch
that's
stuck
really weird to
around.
think about.
That bitch had a shelf life, dude.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's what I've been playing. The third one actually made me rage quit because it's so broken and bad.
Ugh, that
Uh,
sucks.
yeah, so I almost finished my script for that, so probably gonna be working on that video this week. And I don't know, I really don't know what I'll be playing next week. Is anything coming out next week that you know of? I know we
No,
have
so
Night Rain
we're
coming out soon.
exactly. I don't know if I think it might be a combination of both of those titles, but we're kind of in a glut for the rest of the month between Doom the Dark Ages coming out and then Night Rain at the end of the month. Yeah, it I don't think we're really looking specifically at something at a big release at least.
Oh, it's finally slowing down. Maybe I can catch up on some indies or something that I haven't got around to. Maybe I can finally
Well,
play
yeah,
Neon White.
that's a pretty fun time. Speaking of semi boomer shootery, like it has a lot of, similar mechanics, but it really is just a runner, like to run as fast as possible.
Yeah, I've had it downloaded for like a year and a half almost and just haven't got around to it.
Yeah. That was a Switch game for me, I believe.
I feel like that'd be good on Switch.
Yeah, yeah, it was a fun time.
But other than that, Jarvis, I don't really have anything else. So I think we're gonna wrap up the podcast how we wrap it up
Yeah,
every week.
a relatively short one from us this week.
I mean, we're about to scrape the hour mark soon. We're getting there.
Yeah, oh, we rambled. We got some rambles in there, no doubt.
Uh, but I want to close off with how we kind of close off every show. Because the world isn't all about video games. That's not what life is all about. Even though I very much wish it would be, it is not. We like to leave you with a recommendation for something non-video game related. Jarvis, do you have a recommendation for this week?
I absolutely do. In doing other stuff, whether I'm at work, driving, or playing some other podcast game, what I've been listening to is the audiobook narrated by Steve Pacey of The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. New Joe Abercrombie book. Really, really big fan of him, specifically his First Law trilogy, and then the books, spilling out from there. Very good, grim, dark fantasy writer. Specifically, what's really cool about The Devils is it takes place in a odd alternate like history universe, also a fantasy version of our world, where we have a female martyr leading a female Christian church that has a girl pope that's 10 years old, but also we live in a world of immortal elves that will be coming to devour, all of the humans one day. Werewolves from Scandinavia, vampires, and, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. It is a veritable, like, actual Wizard of Oz quest. I love an adventure book. You get all of this weird alternate history stuff, and then you get a band of characters that are effectively a Hammer horror version of the Suicide Squad, going to escort the princess to her throne in Troy. Very weird alternate history, very fun.
That sounds sick as hell, actually. So
Yeah, it's
I
amazing.
love Joe Abercrombie. I think the First Law, uh, its spin-off books and the sequel, I can't remember what the sequel trilogy is called, which is
I
really
can't
good.
remember either.
I
I
really,
always just think of them as First Law books.
yeah, like the sequel has it's like Times of Despair or something like that, which is
Something like that.
which is I
Time
think
of
something.
Contempt?
Nope, that's The Witcher. That's the second Witcher
Yep.
book. Uh, but I love those books. I think I'm not a big Game of Thrones fan, Song of Fire and Ice fan. I've read, the first two books or so, and those didn't really stick with me. This is like what my Game of Thrones is. Like, I want to
Yeah,
see those
absolutely.
books be made
I think
into
he's
an
a
HBO show.
perfect fantasy writer.
Yeah, like I have no qualms about his books. Like he will broach topics that I have problems with, but he handles it well, and it doesn't feel like shock factor because
Yeah,
it
and
is grim dark. So like
oh
awful
yeah.
things happen.
Yeah, there's some very bad stuff. Trigger warnings for pretty much everything, but nothing ever seems necessarily, exploitive in any of his stuff, and I really enjoy that.
So his new book is called The Devils.
The Devils. This definitely, from what I've seen, is supposed to be maybe first in at least a trilogy. But yes, The
I
Devils by Joe Abercrombie.
buying that as soon as we get off this podcast. I will.
I absolutely also recommend, if you do like audiobooks, to listen to Joe Abercrombie's books in audiobook form, because Steve Pacey always does his books and the man commits. He does a voice for every single character, and it is so good. And since so much of the narration of the book is semi first person, you kind of get him acting all the time in the audiobooks, and they're very, very well produced.
I've only listened to a few
Yeah.
audiobooks ever. Like I've listened to the original. I've listened to both Jurassic Park books.
Huh.
I listened to Doctor Sleep when it came out, and then
Huh.
recently I went on a trip with my friend down to Charleston, like last year ish or the year before, and we listened to the book The Mox by John Moxley, which is a fun little
Oh,
book.
interesting.
It's read by him. It's very interesting. If you like wrestling, AEW, funnily enough, and like the shirt you're
Ba-ba-ba.
wearing, it's written in his voice, and it's also he reads it to you. So it's just like it sounds like a one man podcast kind of. It's
Yeah.
interesting. But after we finished that, on the way back, we listened to 90% of Dungeon Crawler Carl,
Oh, okay.
which is I haven't read the book and I haven't finished that first audiobook because it was on his phone. It's a lit RPG and it's just stupid and it's funny. It's like a very comedy
Yeah,
first thing
very
and
silly, irreverent series.
which I recommend, but that's not my recommendation for the week. My recommendation, I was happy you didn't say it since we saw this together. Me and Jarvis went on a
Yes.
little date on Friday and we saw Final Destination Bloodlines.
Ba-da-dum.
Now, we are both of the age where we have the generational trauma of Final Destination. That shit means something to us.
Can't drive behind a log truck.
No, what we cannot. But the Final Destination movies, I'll say it, like I'm a big horror fan. I love stupid things. They're not good. They're fun.
No.
They're not good
But
though.
they've always definitely been intentionally campy. Well, the first one absolutely is. The second one kind of feels like it. And then it feels less like they're being campy and more like they were kind of getting in maybe on like a Saw bandwagon of let's make it seem
It's just
gruesome.
yeah, it's just gore for the sake of gore.
Yeah, but never good gore,
Yeah.
unlike what you're about to talk about.
But so this one, you text me like, "Hey, this is out. We should go see." And I was like, "Final Destination. I could catch that on streaming later." Honestly, you're like, "It's got a 94% Rotten Tomatoes." I was like, "Bullshit."
Yeah, I knew
And
how to bait that hook, folks.
I said, "Bullshit." It does. I looked at. It, I was like, "How?" I was like, "I need to know how this movie has such a good because like I think a Final Destination movie would be a bang out success if it had like a 60, a 50. Like that would be a
Yeah,
success for that
yeah,
movie." So we went and saw
absolutely.
this, and wow, it was such a good time. It
It
is
was so
just
good.
it's just the craziest Rube Goldberg machines of death. Uh
Yep.
and it knows it's very obviously written by someone and directed by someone who loves the Final Destination series because I wish I had like a like Fitbit or something on during that like opening sequence. I just like
Yeah,
my anxiety was through the roof. At some
yeah.
point during the movie,
Because
I literally turned to Jarvis. I was like, every mundane object in this goddamn movie is terrifying.
yeah, it is like the only movie that can show you a push start button on a lawnmower, and it feels like a musical sting should accompany it, like
It
shriek.
felt like a
Like,
threat. Like the camera's just panning over, and you just see the start, push the start, big green button, and it felt like a threat.
and
Uh,
it is. Everything in this movie is used at some point. Every single thing they show you, every shot matters. And, you know, they are from the Anton Chekhov school of horror filmmaking. If you show me a fire extinguisher falling in the first act, it's gonna guaranteed to kill someone in the third act.
yep. Uh, like also I liked about it is just like all the characters are great. I liked all the characters. Like I didn't want any of them to die, even
Yeah,
though they all
no.
did. Like you're like, oh, these are all good people. Like, usually there's like the shit
Yeah.
bag and the bastard and the like all the traditional tropes. No, these are just all good people and they're smart. Like the main character is smart and she like
Yeah.
starts figuring shit out to where like she sounds like a person who has watched all the Final Destination movies before when she
Yeah,
talks.
exactly. She is studied up.
And then when she like actually she starts saying these things, at first people don't believe her, but then they do, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we're all in this, and they're all now the
Yeah.
audience."
The buy-in is really quick and very refreshing in a movie like this.
And just a shout out, I think this is Tony Todd's last ever performance.
Yeah,
And he has a
that is what
very,
I heard.
very poignant moment, especially because he was sick during the filming of this. Like he
Yeah.
knew his time was like short. He gives this like short eloquent speech that kind of had me tearing up in a Final Destination movie a little bit. Rest in peace to a legend.
Yeah.
It was
Not
what
played for a joke or anything in it. I think they did it super respectfully. Like you kind of expect, oh, it's Tony Todd in his final movie role in Final Destination.
how is
Oh
he going to
no.
yeah, how is he going to get horribly maimed and murdered, but
Yeah.
it's super respectful and it's just nice.
It's
And
nice. Yeah, it's really nice.
yeah, it's just a very fun movie. Highly recommend. Please go see it. We need people to support horror movies in the theaters. We need people to
Exactly.
go support the movie theater, the cinema if you're English. Please go.
Uh,
It's a great time. And
Sub
movies have been great.
recommendation on horror movies. I also went to see Clown in a Cornfield this week. It's a slasher movie that cost $1 million to make, and it made me feel like $2 million. So I really enjoyed it. Very fun. Based on a book I liked, and it was just a fun, silly slasher that as all slashers do, maybe doesn't come together in the end as much as you just want the chaos to keep going. Kind of like a Final Destination movie, but that's where this one succeeded, is the chaos did not stop.
Yeah, should not stop in that Final Destination movie either. It felt like.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not quite enough chaos in Clown in a Cornfield to be a
Oh,
full
okay.
recommendation.
Man, just the drive. I texted you this, but the drive back from the movie theater after seeing Final Destination,
Yeah,
because you spend the
quite
whole movie,
harrowing.
you spend the whole movie hyper aware, like of everything on the screen. Like you're
Yep.
like, what is that? What is that? What is that? On my drive
Peanut
home,
butter jars, glasses of water, the aforementioned push start lawnmowers.
yeah, like my whole drive home, I was hyper aware of every single thing on the road. Like, and I was
Yeah,
like, I'm about to like my heart rate is going through. Like, I've driven this way 1,000 times. I'm not.
right.
I'm
It is
fine.
rote.
But like now it's like I see everything. I'm like, why is this movie having this effect on me? I'm a grown man. Please stop. But yeah, that's all I've got for this week. Jarvis, do you have anything else you want to say before we close this guy out?
No, I think that kind of gets it for me as well.
All right. So everybody, thank you so much for listening and or watching if you're on YouTube. I see you. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a like and leave a review if you're listening to us on Spotify. That would be greatly appreciated. And get in the comments and talk to us. Tell us what you thought about Doom the Dark Ages. And please talk to me about fucking Final Destination Bloodlines. That movie was sick.
Yeah,
And
we'll go on nonstop about it.
yeah, we can talk movies for a long. But yeah, other than that, again, thank you so much for listening. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't. Hit the bell. Do all the special things you need to do.
Exactly. Help us out.
So
Now,
Jarvis, can you
just
take us
remember,
away?
yeah, it's dangerous to go alone. Take us. Bye.
Bye.